in the tradition of King David, were called first and foremost to be shepherds. Yes, they had great armies to follow them, they had incredible power, but they were called to serve and to protect and to lead their people as shepherds, as David, the boy called from the flocks and anointed king. Now, very few of Israel's kings, of Israel's shepherds, lived up to this call. David certainly failed. When he was supposed to be out leading the armies in battle, he stayed home and took care of himself. And selfishness and power and greed regularly filled the palace of the kings. But there's this constant call, and ultimately the king, the great king, not just of Israel, but of the universe, Christ, our King, has lived this call of shepherd first and best. And he serves, he gives, he lays down his life. He says, I am the gate, which means that that rock wall in which the sheep are kept safe at night from wolves and bears, that he will lay across the entrance and keep them safe and sleep on the hard ground, sleep more exposed than his sheep to the perils of the wilderness outside. And Jesus lives that fully. Today we celebrate Jesus, risen from the dead, still our shepherd, still our king. But we also have associated this Sunday with Assumption Seminary, with vocations to the priesthood, with leadership in our church, which is called to share in the ministry of Jesus, which is called to share in his kind of leadership, which is called to share in his shepherding of the people. And like the kings of Israel, we haven't always lived up to that call. Like the kings of Israel, power and selfishness, and they've been abused. But we're called always back to that kind of leadership, which is Jesus. And this Sunday, maybe more than anything else, we're invited as a community to look for leaders, to invite those who should be called into leadership, and to recognize that that call is first and foremost a call to shepherd, to care, to offer one's life, to lay down in the gateway and be the gate that saves and protects the sheep, even at one's own peril. And so I would ask you, if you know someone that would serve and care and be a shepherd, that you might talk to them about a possible vocation to the priesthood, a call from the church, from you. And if you know someone who likes a lot of attention and wants to be the center of the room and has a big ego, maybe suggest that they do something else. They could be a lawyer. And if you know someone who would like to have all the finer things in life and feather their own nest, maybe they should do something else. You could suggest that they think about becoming a hedge fund manager. And I have nothing against lawyers or hedge fund managers. But if you know someone who would be willing to lay down in that gateway and protect the sheep at their own discomfort and peril, if you know someone who would serve and give their lives, maybe most importantly, if you know someone to whom you would go to confession, someone you would trust with your parish's multi-million-dollar budget, somebody that would lead well a team parish team to care for you, then please ask them to consider a priestly vocation. Maybe even tell your pastor, tell me, about them and the conversation you had with them. And on this Good Shepherd Sunday, may we find something better than David at his worst, something better than the church at our worst. May we find the willingness to lead as the Good Shepherd. May we find still alive in our midst the service of Christ, our King and our Shepherd.